Hello, I'm Dave Layman. You might remember me from my many years at Channel 6, but also from the first cover of Rhode Island Monthly way back 30 years ago. Rhode Island Monthly decided to do this cover as they embarked on this, what's turned out to be a multi-decade monthly magazine. It was a clever idea because if you're going to put out a magazine for the first time, television news anchors were then, maybe a little less so now, but still very much some of the most trusted people in the community, and so it tends to be an attention getter. The photo that's on the front page of the first edition, I think, is a snapshot in time. And I think maybe even now it's more meaningful than it was then, because the media has changed so much since then. People made an appointment to watch Doug or to watch Ann Conway and myself or Walter Cryan. I mean, for a lot of people, they would say to me, I have dinner with you every night. You're a member of our family. And that's a pretty strong comment. You became very, very important to them. So when people look at this older magazine cover, it's almost like listening to an oldies piece of music on the radio. Where were you when that was popular? And for a lot of people, they'll remember when Doug White, Dave Layman, Ann Conway broadcast a major news story that they had a particular interest in. Or it might have been for Channel 10, the blizzard of '78. These are people that were family members for the audience and your readers once upon a time. And they were all really honorable people. And that's one of the things that I'm not in a picture with people that I didn't respect. I respected all of my colleagues in the business. We would fight tooth and nail to get the audience. We would try to beat each other on stories. But you appreciate the fact that they were all very hardworking people trying to do a good job and trying to get the truth out. That snapshot of many years ago, 30 years ago, and I realized how my life has changed since then. At that point, it was often pointed out that I was, probably at the time, I was the only single news anchor in Rhode Island. And a few years after that picture was taken, at a very late stage in my life, I married my wife, and we ended up moving to Baton Rouge, and we had 2 children there, and eventually came back here. So my life has changed a good deal, and I'm also no longer a television news anchor, which I loved for the whole time that I did, but when we came back to be here among family and friends to raise our children, I made the move away from television news and went into corporate communications, media relations, and marketing. And I've had a lot of satisfaction doing that. If I were to be honest, my heart probably is still in journalism. I still love it. It's one of those things you can't get out of your veins. But there are a lot of applications of that to corporate communications because you're helping companies, sometimes individuals, tell their story, or helping them, if they're having a crisis, helping them to rise above that crisis. One of the things that I think is really good about Rhode Island Monthly is that over the years, when there have been corruption trials and environmental spills and killings and mob stuff and all that, you folks, point out a lot of the good things, and it's a good cue for a lot of people. Rhode Island Monthly has a tendency to focus on some of our assets, and I think that's uplifting. One of the things that I like about it is the Best Docs issue, or the Best of Rhode Island, because you see things in the magazine that either you had forgotten about, taken for granted, or didn't know about. As a glossy magazine, nicely presented, well shot, well written, and it tells you about, hey, there's some really good things about this state, and we're going to tell you about it once a month. And I think that's really a positive thing.